While the Lakers focus on bouncing back from their collapse in Phoenix, another storyline has been quietly building behind the scenes, one that has fans searching for answers. Jared Vanderbilt, one of the team's signature defensive disruptors, hasn't logged a single minute in the last 6 games. Not one. And the timing couldn't be more striking. His disappearance from the rotation begins the moment LeBron James returns to action. For a fan base that watches every possession like a heartbeat monitor, the question has naturally exploded. Why is head coach JJ Redick keeping a high-impact defender glued to the bench at a time when defensive versatility should be a premium? Redick didn't dodge the question. In fact, he tackled it directly, painting a picture that's far more complex than a simple lineup preference. According to the head coach, Vanderbilt's absence has nothing to do with attitude, conditioning, effort, or injury. Instead, it comes down to 3 elements: rotation math, lineup chemistry, and the momentum of a team that's finally stringing together consistent performances. He's been great. He's been a pro. He was excellent in the stay-ready scrimmage we had, Redick said, sounding almost protective of Vanderbilt's professionalism. I told him before LeBron returned that there were specific things he needed to do consistently to stay in the rotation both before and after LeBron's comeback, and I told him there would probably be a minute squeeze. We were committing to a 9-man rotation. That's just where we are. Redick made something else clear. This is not a punishment, and it's not permanent. He knows the optics. He knows the conversations happening in the fan base, but he insists this is a reflection of the team's current rhythm. This isn't final. It doesn't mean he won't re-enter the rotation at some point, whether we're healthy or not, he emphasized. When you're winning games, it's tough to mess with the rotation in the middle of a streak. We're monitoring everything. There were some lineup combinations we used out of necessity when we were dealing with injuries, and we've moved away from them. Unfortunately, he was the one affected. I feel for him. It's not an easy call for me, and it's not fun for him. The core issue lies in Vanderbilt's offensive limitations. His value defensively is unquestioned, but the modern NBA demands two-way contributors, especially in deep postseason runs, and Vanderbilt's numbers paint a challenge. He's a 28.8% career three-point shooter, the kind of percentage opponents gleefully ignore once the intensity ramps up. In the postseason, spacing becomes oxygen. Every inch matters. And when Vanderbilt shares the court with LeBron James and Luka Doncic, both ball-dominant players who need wide driving lanes to collapse defenses, the spacing problem becomes impossible to hide. The moment Vanderbilt is on the weak side, defenses sag off him, clog the paint, and dare him to shoot. That's the foundation of Redick's dilemma. When the offense slows down into half-court basketball, which it inevitably does, Vanderbilt becomes the player defenses cheat off of without hesitation. It's not effort, it's not intelligence, it's not toughness, it's geometry. But on the other hand, Vanderbilt brings something to the floor the Lakers don't have in abundance. Defensive versatility that borders on elite. He can switch onto wings, chase guards, fight through screens, blow up handoffs, and use his length to disrupt rhythm scorers who rarely get uncomfortable. When he's engaged, he changes the temperature of a game. He speeds it up, he crowds the ball, he erases space. He forces opponents to rethink their first option and settle for their second or third. He's also a relentless rebounder, especially on the defensive glass, where he can secure possessions in traffic and immediately push the pace. On a Lakers team that isn't overflowing with explosive athletes, his energy stands out even more. We've seen this in multiple playoff series. The Lakers throwing Vanderbilt onto an opponent's #1 scorer just to set a tone from the opening tip. So how do you bench a player who gives you that? Redick's answer is simple, even if it's heartbreaking from a player's perspective: fit and flow. Right now, Luka Doncic is the engine of the offense. Austin Reeves is playing some of his best, most confident basketball. Rui Hachimura is spacing the floor at a level the Lakers desperately need, and DeAndre Ayton is anchoring the interior with consistency. Redick has leaned into lineups that prioritize shooting, rhythm, and secondary creation, the type of lineups that maximize Doncic's genius and minimize defensive collapses. In a 9-man rotation, a player with limited offensive impact and without star status becomes the inevitable sacrifice. The truth is this: Vanderbilt is caught in a contextual trap. He's good enough to play real minutes on most teams. He makes winning plays. He impacts games defensively in ways advanced metrics struggle to quantify, but in the specific formula the Lakers are using right now, a formula that's delivering wins, his presence restricts the ceiling of their half-court offense. So for the time being, the rotation stays as it is, and as long as the victories keep coming, Redick isn't likely to disrupt the structure. Vanderbilt for now is the casualty of timing, spacing, and system, not talent, not effort, not character. But this story isn't finished. It's simply on pause, waiting for the next injury, the next matchup problem, the next stylistic shift, or the next moment when the Lakers need a spark only Vanderbilt can provide. And when that moment comes, the door is already open. Redick said it himself. The Los Angeles Lakers walked into Monday night riding the confidence of a 7-game winning streak, a stretch that had reignited belief, restored swagger, and pushed the team back into the Western Conference conversation. But in Phoenix, all that momentum evaporated. In a jarring 125-108 defeat, the Suns exposed the Lakers in nearly every phase of the game, delivering a reminder that winning streaks mean nothing when focus slips, effort dips, and execution falters. Head coach JJ Redick summed up the night with rare bluntness. "The basketball gods reward you, and they also punish you," Redick said. "We had opportunities to stay disciplined, to do the little things, and when we didn't, the punishment came quickly. And it came in the form of turnovers, a staggering 22 of them. Each mistake felt heavier than the last as Phoenix converted those miscues into 32 points, a margin too massive for Los Angeles to overcome." For a team built around precision, pace, and star power, this performance was the opposite of what had fueled their recent surge. Luka Doncic, who once again delivered elite offensive numbers with 38 points and 11 rebounds, didn't hide from his role in the loss. "This one's on me," Doncic admitted. 9 turnovers. That can't happen. Not for me. Not for this team. "I have to be better." Doncic explained that Phoenix threw a defensive look he hadn't seen all year, a strategy designed to bait him into scoring while cutting off his ability to create for others. "They weren't loading up like other teams do," he said. "It was more like, go ahead and score if you want, but you're not getting your teammates involved. It threw off my rhythm. And even if it did, I can't allow that kind of confusion to impact the game." Even more concerning for the Lakers was the fact that Phoenix dominated without Devin Booker after he exited in the first quarter with a right groin injury. His absence should have tilted the game toward Los Angeles. Instead, it was the Suns who responded with urgency. Dillon Brooks and Colin Gillespie erupted for a combined 61 points, taking advantage of every defensive lapse. Phoenix shot an incredible 57% from the field and 44% from deep. Numbers that spoke less to hot shooting and more to defensive breakdowns from the Lakers. The problems weren't just physical, they were emotional too. The Lakers never found their footing after falling behind early. The urgency wasn't there, the edge wasn't there, and Austin Reeves said it plainly. "We didn't play hard enough," Reeves said after finishing with 16 points and committing 5 turnovers of his own. "We didn't match their intensity, we didn't match their energy, and when you do that in this league, you're going to get hit. You have to remember what this feels like and make sure you show up differently." For Los Angeles, the loss wasn't just about a bad night, it was a wake-up call, a reminder that their margin for error is thin, especially in a Western Conference where the standings shift rapidly and every game has weight. The team has relied heavily on Luka Doncic's nightly brilliance and the leadership of 40-year-old LeBron James, who continues to defy expectations. But as Monday proved, individual greatness can't erase collective breakdowns, not against a team that punishes mistakes as quickly and decisively as Phoenix did. Now, the Lakers must turn the page quickly. A challenging 3-game East Coast road trip begins Thursday with a matchup against the Toronto Raptors. It's a stretch that will test not only their resilience, but also their ability to respond to adversity, something they haven't faced in nearly 2 weeks. This loss won't define their season, but how they react to it just might. While the Lakers navigate their own internal challenges, a seismic situation is developing across the league, one that could reshape the entire NBA landscape. The future of Giannis Antetokounmpo has once again become one of the most unsettling storylines in basketball. What seemed like a stable partnership between superstar and franchise has entered a new phase of tension, one driven by losing streaks, public frustration, and a sudden social media purge that immediately set off alarms across the league. On Tuesday, December 2nd, Giannis erased nearly all Milwaukee Bucks content from his social platforms. Only the posts celebrating the 2021 NBA championship and the 2024 NBA Cup were left untouched. This decision came just hours after a crushing 129-126 loss to the Washington Wizards, one of the most fragile teams in the league, playing without their top prospect Alex Sarr. The timing was impossible to ignore. For many, it wasn't just a reaction, it was a signal. Giannis is 30 years old and locked into a contract through the 2026-27 season, but this isn't the first time he's used pressure to influence the organization, and this time, the circumstances are even more urgent. Milwaukee is stuck in a 7-game losing streak, one of the worst stretches of Giannis's career. Several of those losses with him on the court playing elite-level basketball. After being eliminated by the New York Knicks during the NBA Cup group stage, the two-time MVP publicly expressed how tired he is of losing. He didn't mince words. Of course you want to win. Every player wants that. We had a chance to get to Las Vegas for the NBA Cup final. We didn't make it. And at the end of the day, I just want to win. Losing 7 straight? I honestly can't remember the last time that happened to me. Those comments hit the fan base hard, and across the league, they echoed even louder. Within minutes, Lakers fans jumped on the situation. Giannis has long been viewed as the crown jewel of future possibilities for Los Angeles. Back in October, The Athletic reported that he was the franchise's top target, an organizational dream dating back years. And now, with Milwaukee unraveling, LA fans believe the door might finally be opening. The Lakers possess assets that could form a compelling offer. Austin Reeves, young, polished, and proven in playoff moments. Dalton Knecht, an explosive rookie scorer with massive upside. Rui Hachimura, a versatile forward with postseason experience. And 3 first-round picks, an enormous treasure chest in today's NBA. It's the kind of package that demands attention, the kind that forces even established front offices to ask themselves uncomfortable questions. Still, despite all the noise, there is no confirmed negotiation underway, and that uncertainty is exactly why the situation feels so raw. When a superstar removes team photos and highlights, when the team is collapsing in real time, when the losses pile up and the frustrations go public, possibilities become headlines and headlines become pressure. This isn't even the first time Giannis has taken this route. In September of 2020, after another disappointing postseason, he wiped his social media accounts and unfollowed teammates. That moment reshaped the franchise. The Bucks responded instantly, offering the largest contract extension in league history at the time and pulling off the Blockbuster trade for Drew Holiday. 1 year later, Milwaukee broke a half-century title drought, but the NBA moves fast. Glory fades quickly and expectations return even faster. Since winning the championship, the Bucks have suffered 3 consecutive first-round playoff exits. Giannis made it clear months ago that he wanted reinforcements heading into the 2025-26 season. He wanted upgrades, energy, and help. Instead, the roster remained mostly unchanged, and the problems only grew. The team's current situation is spiraling. Milwaukee began the year with promise, but they've slipped to 11th in the Eastern Conference. 9 wins, 13 losses, and outside even the play-in tournament. The collapse against the Wizards was a perfect summary of the frustration. Up 120-115 after a Giannis basket, Milwaukee seemed ready to escape with a narrow win. Instead, the game flipped when Chris Middleton, Giannis's former co-star, now with Washington, took over the final possessions and sealed the comeback. The symbolism was impossible to miss, and the road ahead is brutal. 2 of Milwaukee's next 4 games are against the Eastern Conference leading Detroit Pistons. They also face the powerhouse Boston Celtics and the consistently competitive Philadelphia 76ers. All 3 of those teams sit above the Bucks in the standings, and all 3 represent the type of elite competition Milwaukee has repeatedly failed to overcome in recent years. For Giannis, the message is clear. Winning isn't happening. Help isn't coming. Patience is running out. And for teams like the Lakers, dreaming of pairing a generational superstar with Luka Doncic and building a new era of dominance, this may be the first real indication that Giannis Antetokounmpo could soon be available. For the right offer, under the right circumstances, and at the exact moment Milwaukee loses its grip on a future they once thought was secure. Whatever happens next, this story has shifted from speculation to urgency. And the NBA is watching closely,